Hey, sexy lady. Gangnam Style this morning, isn't it? It's all about being the Gangnam Style. Yeah, looks like Yang was asked about his Yang Gang, and he said it's great that he's got such a great following and that people love him being at Celtic. Anyway, two players that are massively important for Celtic going forward. Two players that are massive for Celtic going forward is obviously Yang and Julian Araujo. Julian Araujo, there seems to be a bit of mystery about Julian Araujo over the weekend. Martin O'Neill did say that he was out injured with a bit of a thigh strain. Yeah, there's a bit of mystery about Julian Araujo over the weekend because I think his missus has had a baby. Martin O'Neill did say that he was out with a thigh strain, but he was seen pushing his new pram and with his new baby. So we'll wait and see what happens. We all know that Celtic don't like to fill us in on every bit of information, but congratulations to him if he has had his missus has had a child. And whilst you always have when you always have a birth, there's always a death, isn't there? So my thoughts and condolences go out to an old schoolmate this morning, um, Thomas Smith. And my thoughts go out to his family, his sister Marie, and his mother, who I knew quite well growing up. So my condolences go out to them. It's always sad news to hear when somebody so young in their early 50s loses a battle to cancer. And guys, go and get checked out. That's all I'm going to say. I'm lucky that I stay in a place that regularly you get health checks for your pooper scooper and blood tests. If you're at that age, guys, just go and get tested, please. Anyway, back to Celtic. Um, Julian Araujo, fantastic player for Celtic. Will he be here next year? But we did a poll. It was yesterday morning, and we spoke about Yang being most improved player this season. Yang has taken his goal tally to is it sixth for the season. That was his fifth and sixth goal, I believe. It's more than he scored last season. He's spoken about the fact that he was almost away in the summer, and by the looks of it, he's not ready to go anywhere this summer, which could be a good thing for Celtic. Give us a bit of stability. He says Yang season did not start. My season didn't start smoothly. I was labelled as surplus to requirements after being transferred to Birmingham City. It didn't materialise, and my playing time was limited early season. However, the tide turned around about Christmas time, and Yang scored 6 league goals since then. It's unbelievable to think that he has had that turnaround as a player. It's I mean, it's great for Celtic that we've got players like Yang and players like Julian Araujo in the side at this point of the season because they're becoming invaluable players. Whatever happens in the last 8 games, we'll wait and see. We do now have a title fight. We have a real title fight. When you look at the league table this morning, it's very interesting reading from a Celtic. Well, it's very interesting for everybody in Scottish football because normally at this time of the year, and I seen an interesting thing yesterday, is Derek McInnes finished the season several times at this point of the season on 30 games with 63 points when he was at Aberdeen. Quite a few times when he was at Aberdeen, he was on 63 points at this time of the season. Ultimately, he faced a much stronger Celtic team than he does just now. Today, he finds himself on 63 points at the top of the table. At the top of the table. When you look at the fact that Celtic are on 61 points and the Rangers, who got a scrappy 1-0 win, that's all it takes to keep you in contention for the league title is 1-0 wins. Anything is still possible. Celtic do have the momentum. Are Celtic coming into a goal scoring forum, or was that just a one-off? Celtic have been misfiring all season. If this is the time that Celtic start scoring 3-4 goals per game, you've got to say fair play to the players, and they've completely pulled it out the bag. Whatever happens, it makes it an interesting final 8 games. And do Celtic have the momentum? It's a strange one, isn't it? I mean, we've scored the most goals in the league, which would suggest that, and Celtic are top of the table in that regard, sitting on 56 goals for. Hearts are sitting on 52 for, and Rangers are sitting on 52 for. If that momentum keeps on going, it says that there's only one winner. Can Celtic keep on scoring 3 or 4 goals? Tell me your thoughts in the comments section this morning, and be nice to each other this morning. It was sweet watching McInnes yesterday, trying not to say why the fuck didn't he dive. Anyway, who cares about them? It is all about Celtic this morning. There's a couple of sites that have been doing predictions when it comes to the final games. There's no point in trying to make predictions of. I mean, I think that we know the top 6. The top 6 isn't going to change. I can't see. I mean, it looks like we will play Hearts, Rangers, Motherwell, Hibernian, and Falkirk. I can't see Falkirk slipping away now. It would be unbelievable if Falkirk managed to lose 9 points, but I can't see it. So the teams that we are going to play will be Hearts, Rangers, Motherwell, Hibernian, and Falkirk. How do we fare in a head-to-head with them? Well, we can beat them all. We haven't managed to beat 2 of them on a regular basis this season, and that's been the downfall of Celtic this season. But both Celtic, Hearts, and even Rangers, bringing them into the equation, even they've only, I mean, they've actually got, I mean, they've got a good defense. They've got the same defensive record as Hearts. Got all those 32 goals that's went in against Celtic. Anyway, yeah, it was interesting yesterday that McInnes tried to blame the pitch, the same pitch that he said would give him a leveller when he was the Kilmarnock manager. Right, moving on from that, with a scrappy 1-0 win yesterday, brings Rangers back into contention. Martin O'Neill, can he turn things around? And who will be the most important players for us going into the run-in? It's weird to think that Yang has the possibility of completely turning his season around and being a main player for Celtic going forward. I don't want that one. I want back onto this one. I'm going to jump into the comments now. Oklahoma, it's 3:37 a.m. Hope you're on the night shift, mate. Goal difference may be the difference going into the final stretch of the season. If it is goal difference, I mean, Celtic are way behind, aren't they? I mean, Rangers and Hearts are sitting on a goal difference of 27. Celtic are sitting on a goal difference of 24. Motherwell are sitting on a goal difference of 26. If that was to be the case, Celtic would finish 4th in the league. Could you imagine that happening? That would be a devastating end to the season after Martin O'Neill doing well to ultimately end up. And I wonder who will get at home. We're obviously going to we'll get Hearts at home, we'll get Rangers at home, and Celtic generally only get 2 home games after the split. Is this the season that we're maybe due 3 home games? And then the other teams just go into complete meltdown? Nah, they'll give Celtic 2 home games, won't they? He also tried to blame the pitch, which is ironic. Yep. The manager that used to manage Kilmarnock now complaining about the pitch at Kilmarnock. Yang's always been good, just had to get the game time and the confidence. That's a strange one because he was surplus to requirements. He was out the door in the summer. You know, he wasn't deemed good enough by the manager last season. We will smash the teams in the split with a few players back. How big an influence can the players that are missing from the squad right now, how big an influence can they have, considering they've not played a lot of football over the last 5 months, 4 months? Don't know. Are we expecting too much from players? I mean, you talk about Oxlade Chamberlain not being match fit. These players aren't going to be match fit either. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be really intense from here on in. I actually think that we can do it. So, Stephen says it'll be Celtic, Rangers, then Hearts in that order. He thinks that Hearts will just completely. It'll be interesting because I don't know if Hearts are due to go back to Ibrox. If they're due to go back to Ibrox after the split, it will be. There's a possibility that that could happen. But if Rangers are due to go to Edinburgh, I think that that could be the game changer. The amount of people, I think there could be a big meltdown when it comes to the games after the split. There'll be all sorts of conspiracy theories going about that it's set up for the big two. It's this, it's that. The next thing we'll win the league, we'll hit our stride at the point of the season. 8 to go. We are doing this, says Lorne. Celtic, Hearts, then Rangers. Hearts will beat the Buns at home. Well, that's what I'm thinking. Do they have to? Do they have to go back to Rangers? Have to go back to Edinburgh? And if they do, I think that that'll be the one that kills Rangers off. The goal difference gives me the fear, says Michelle. We have to score more goals. Yeah, I've been saying that we needed to score more goals since away back in December when the goal difference, when Wilfred Nancy managed to close the gap slightly, and then Martin O'Neill closed the gap, and then Wilfred Nancy extended it. Could you imagine if Wilfred Nancy had not been? I mean, it's fine saying, a lot of people said keep Wilfred Nancy, don't get Wilfred Nancy in, keep Martin O'Neill to the end of the season, which is all fine, but it leaves us with the same shit show, and there's no point in going over old rope, as they say. But I mean, you can understand why Celtic wanted to get in a permanent manager so that we could be a bit better going into the summer, more organised. I think it would be the term that we were looking for. But now we're going to go into the summer with a massive upheaval that could have really been diverted if Celtic had just got the checkbook out and went for. I understand that, people say but managers don't want to leave, players don't want to leave mid-season. If you throw the cash about Celtic, and Celtic had, the disappointing thing is, we're sitting with the money in the bank. Celtic could have went out and got the manager they wanted if they were prepared to pay. I believe that they had to pay Wilfred Nancy's club a million or 2 million, or it was undisclosed. But I think if they really wanted to get the top class manager, but then again, when you look at the people that were making the decision, they got it way wrong, and it's going to be the same people that are making the decision for the next manager, which gives me a little bit of fear going into the summer. We're winning this league hands down in the Scottish Cup. Not going to lie, I ruled out goal difference being a factor a few weeks back, but now it looks more probable. Yeah, it does that, doesn't it? It's, I mean, I don't think that the goal difference, when you look at it, I mean, Celtic, if it was to finish just on goal difference, Celtic would be goosed because we're on 24 goals. When you look at Rangers on 27, when you look at Motherwell are on plus 26, and Hearts are on plus 26 also, it makes you think, can Celtic realistically, and maybe, they say that games change season, and we've been looking for one game all season that would change the momentum for Celtic. And maybe it was that Motherwell game. That the Motherwell game was one of the most important games over the busy spell that we've just had of games, because Motherwell were the team that were completely on fire. Do you know, they weren't losing too many goals. I know that they lost two to Dundee. But anyway, we digress. Who cares about them? It is all about what Celtic can do between now and the end of the season. 19 home games, 19 away. When it's split, Celtic will be due 3 home games. Surely Yang will be scoring hat tricks every game now. I'll tell you one thing: if he does, if he keeps on scoring, fair play to the lad. Do you know? I mean, a lot of fans criticised him, and you know, I did say that if he scores goals, he should start doing the Yang Man dance. Hey, 16. I'm not doing it. How many players did Brendan Rodgers not have faith in that actually look quite useful? Oof. That's a massive one this morning from Fiona Riley. And it's true. You know, you're actually quite right with saying that. And I'm wondering if we had managed to keep Adam Ida, would we be in the same predicament? Because Adam Ida was a goal scorer. You can't deny it. I mean, the stats show, I mean, over his year and a half at Celtic, he scored 29 goals. Losing that 29 goals from a striker, and the strikers that we've brought in are nowhere near even double figures. You know, even if Adam Ida had stayed at the club, would we have been in this mess? And I think he was kind of pushed out by Brendan Rodgers. Scoring 3 on Saturday helped. If we can score 3 each game now, with Rangers and Hearts scraping it, we might be okay. It's going to come to the head-to-heads, isn't it? I think that it's going to come to there's going to be a battle of nerves. The Celtic Rangers Hearts games after the split. It's looking more and more likely. It's going to be a case of who scores the most goals between now and the end of the season, that's for sure. That is for sure. Scottish Cup will take care of itself. As for the league, we have 6 days off between games now, first time in months. We all know that the other lot, the title is going nowhere. Quite confident, Lauren. Yang is still goes missing far too often. Bit of a reality check from Kev this morning, saying that Yang is still mince. He does go missing in games, but if you can get whatever Martin O'Neill and Sean Maloney and Fozzie or whoever spoke to Yang at half time, whoever, it's worth their weight in gold. I'd love to know the conversations, and I'd love to know who had the conversation, because that person is a complete. It has to be Martin O'Neill, surely. I mean, he is a miracle worker this year, isn't he? For what he's done, getting us back into the title fight more than anything. You know, we've got a lot to thank Martin O'Neill for. I think that the Hearts and Huns game will be in Edinburgh after the split, says Lauren. That would do Celtic. I would say that that's the best result for Celtic then, because you would expect Hearts to win that at home. But even a draw, if that was a draw, you can't. Nobody can predict the league at this point. Nobody will be able to predict the final outcome of the league at this point. It's far too close. Mailboy says we have Hearts and Rangers both at Parkhead after the split. Yeah, I know that. I was just wondering whether we have a third game. That's what it'll come down to. Didn't realise until I'd seen the clip of Brendan's new team that John Kennedy had joined them. Where have you been? Of course he joined them. That's why he left Celtic. Yes, Kennedy's in of course he was going with yeah, didn't even like to talk about him anymore. Rangers have Parkhead and Tynecastle after the split. That does make it very, very interesting now. We beat the Orcs and Hearts. We will chip away at their goal difference was. Yeah, I think that we can. I mean, there's only 3 goals in it. Celtic really need to score 4 goals in a game. We need to win a game 4-0 to get us back in and around it goal difference wise, just in case, because I don't want it to get to the last game of the season and to know it's a must-win game. And who will be at home? Will Celtic be at home the last game of the season this year? We were at home. We were at home the last game of the season last year. I think we were, weren't we? Which means that we'll more than likely be away from home last game of the season. I need to check that out. Can't remember. 1986, Celtic's Dad's Army theme song, reignited for the run-in. It's a completely different generation, mate. I don't think that Celtic fans in this day and age are going to reignite a Dad's Army theme tune. Just saying. Yes, Typhoon McFlustery, you did, and there was quite a few people said that we would take 3 of them, and I said that you were drunk, and hands up to you, mate, you got it right. I've never seen 3 goals coming, I'll be honest, and I don't think anybody's seen Yang scoring a double, so I think that we could all be honest that it was crazy. It's up to us to win this league. Hopefully when Osman comes back after the break, he can get back in on the goals. Martin O'Neill liked him as a player. Martin O'Neill gave him his start when Brendan Rodgers, he was nowhere near the team with Brendan Rodgers. He was classed as someone that was coming through the academy under Brendan Rodgers, and it just shows you that Brendan Rodgers isn't the elite manager he thinks he is, and that's for sure. Especially when somebody that's been out the game for so long, as what Martin O'Neill has, can come in and rip up Brendan Rodgers' ethos of working. And I always remember an interview with Martin O'Neill and Brendan Rodgers, and Martin O'Neill asking Brendan, why do you always keep passing it back? And why do you keep this passing back to the defenders and the side to side stuff? And Brendan Rodgers, well, it's to change the point of attack. Nonsense. And that was the line that Brendan Rodgers came with. But when Martin O'Neill unfortunately had to come back to Celtic all these years later, Martin O'Neill sat down and he said, look, football's actually really simple. You get the ball out for your goalkeeper, you play it out to your defenders, you play it to your midfield, you play it to your wingers, you play it to your strikers, and you try and score a goal. It's a really easy, there's nothing changed in football since Martin O'Neill was a player back in the 1970s. The objective is still the same. It's managers and their ethos that kills teams and ruins teams. And I think that even the first time round that Brendan Rodgers was here, we were all fed up of his side-to-side football. And it was even more apparent, that the Celtic fans were way pissed off with it at the beginning of this season. And that and people talking about the atmosphere at Celtic Park, the noise at Celtic Park. Brendan Rodgers has got a lot of blame to take for that as well, because although it's nice possession-based football, and you're retaining the ball and stuff from a tactical point of view, from an entertainment point of view, it's completely rubbish. And it's no wonder that fans are just sitting in their seat going, fucking got to watch this shit for 90 minutes again. And then we end, it's the low block. You never heard Ange Postecoglou complaining about the low block? It was a very Brendan Rodgers excuse, wasn't it? You don't hear Martin O'Neill talking about the low block. It's a strange one, but there you go. There we go. It's when we get to this point of the season and we can start analysing the way that the different managers have played and the way that Martin O'Neill, Sean Maloney, Fozzie, McManus, you've got to say hats off to the 3 of them. Maloney, McManus, and Fozzie. They've been absolutely fantastic for Celtic. It's for John Kennedy. John Kennedy was becoming stale, wasn't he? I mean, he used to just sit for 90 minutes, and he had become very stale at Celtic. Although he was an elite coach, and I know that Ange Postecoglou said, "Look, I put everything on John Kennedy. He sorts out everything. He does all the training. He works out everything. I basically turn up on a Friday and watch the players for half an hour and then pick the team." Don't know. Anyway, I want my Yang hat trick. The bet that you put on every single day. Um, Joseph says, "We'll never know," and he did score 29 goals. Talking about, yes, Typhoon McFlustery. I've already said that. You're now repeating yourself. Anyway, I'm going to jump through to the end of the comments. Scott has said, "Home, St Mirren, Rangers, Falkirk away." Where is that? St Mirren, Rangers, Falkirk, Hearts away, Dundee United, Motherwell. Just that's not going to be. I don't think so. Anyway, I'm not predicting. Um, I'm still not convinced Hitati can tackle. No, no, I don't think any of us are. So anyway, right, that is me. It's looking like Hearts, Sevco, Falkirk at Celtic Park, Hibs and Motherwell away. We'll wait and see. Motherwell away is a hard game, but then again, you've got to win them all to win the title at the end of the day. Right, anyway, that is me done and dusted for this morning. I shall see you 8 p.m. Celtic Park time tonight. Have a fantastic day wherever you are. Fantastic Monday morning, isn't it? Anyway, see you later.